to my channel. Today we're going to do another fun stitch. This stitch is called the Alpine Stitch. This is a really fun stitch. Uses a few different stitches in here. We're going to use obviously chain stitch if you want to start that way, a foundation single crochet if you prefer it that way, which is my method, a single crochet, double crochet, and a front post double crochet. I will of course leave all the stitches in my description if you want a link to any of those to get more information on how to do those. But this is a really fun stitch. It creates a nice texture, and as you can see, kind of a 3D effect on it, which I really love. A lot of good uses. You can use this for, throws, blankets, baby blankets, anything that you can think of. And I think you'll really enjoy this. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what is involved in this stitch. Now, as usual, I'm going to use a combination of this is just a weight 4 yarn. You can use any yarn, and I'm going to use a 6mm hook just to demonstrate this pattern. You can use any combination that you want. I would take a look at whatever yarn you want to use, look at the recommendation on the package for what yarn, or excuse me, what hook it calls for, and use that. You might want to, it is kind of a little tighter stitch here if you take a look at that. And if you want the garment a little more pliable, you might want to go up like a 1/2 millimeter or something like that. So I think of weight 4 yarn usually calls for like a 5.5, and again I'm using a 6 just to make it a little better. Now to start with, I would recommend using any odd number of stitches. I want to start with a double crochet and end with a double crochet so that my sides are pretty similar. So I would recommend an odd number of stitches, and you also have to set up this stitch. So before you actually begin the Alpine stitch itself, we need 3 rows. We need a single crochet row, a double crochet row, and a single crochet row. So that's 2, 3, and 4. And then you'll get to your Alpine stitch. So for me, I am going to do 15 just for this sample. And I prefer to start with a foundation single crochet, which again, I will leave a tutorial for that in the description box if you're not familiar with that. If you prefer, you can just do a chain of however many number you want and then go back across and do single crochet. I prefer this just to do it all in one, and also I think it looks a little neater than the chain stitch and then going back over with single crochet, but you can do it whichever way that you prefer. I think I have 13 on here right now. I'm just going to do 2 more foundation single crochet, so I have 15. And that'll take care of our first single crochet row. Now we're going to go back over this and do double crochet. You can do a chain 3 here if you'd like. I prefer the alternative turning chain, which I will also put in the description box. Just to make the ends straighter and no lumps or bumps or anything like that. And it makes that first stitch a little sturdier too. So I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet in each stitch all the way across. Again, any number of stitches. I recommend odd so that each row starts and ends the same. But again, depending on what you're making, you decide how wide and how long you want to make whatever you're making. All right, so far pretty simple, right? Single crochet, double crochet. Now, when we reach the end here, we are going to then do a chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to do our row of single crochet. The single crochet row is one you will do at every odd row. So you're going to do that sorry, let me move that up. You're going to do that at every row, in between each Alpine row, you're going to do a single crochet row. So we're just doing our single crochet all the way across to set up this stitch. You might also, if you're concerned about the number of stitches across and things like that, you might also want to make sure you're counting so that your rows stay the same number of stitches all the way across. I know sometimes that's, especially if you're new to crochet, that can be a little more difficult to follow. So there we go. That's our foundation for doing the Alpine. We've got our foundation single crochet, or if you prefer a chain with a single crochet, your double crochet, and then another row of single crochet. Okay, now we're going to get to our first Alpine row. So what you're going to do is start with a double crochet, chain 3, alternative turning chain, however you want to do this. You can do a chain 3, which will count as your first double crochet. I am going to do an alternative turning chain. Your next stitch that you're going to do is where your front post double crochet comes into play. Now, as we do this front post double crochet, we're not going to do it around the single crochet row. We're going to do it around this double crochet, which is actually 2 rows down. That's why we needed to start with this setup of a double crochet row. So you're going to do your front post double crochet around this post, not the first one, but the second one, because we did a double crochet here. And the important thing is, since it's so far down, you want to make sure that you keep it loose and bring it back up. If you were to just stop here and to do your front post double crochet here, your work would start to curl. Do you see how that's curling forward? It's because it's a different height than the double crochet that you started with. So it's important to almost elongate that front post double crochet to bring it back up to the height of your first stitch here. All right, so we're going to do a front post double crochet, and let me go slow just in case you haven't seen that tutorial. Okay, you're going to yarn over as if you're doing a double crochet. You're going to go around this post from behind. You're going to pull that up, and what you want to do is pull that yarn up to the height of the first stitch. Do you see how far that is? So it's important to keep your tension loose. If it's easier for you, drop it, pull it up, you know, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're pulling that up to the right height. Got it? And then finish your double crochet. Okay? And you'll see it looks like a really elongated stitch there. It's kind of cool looking. All right, next stitch, you're going to do just a double crochet into that single crochet row. All right, and now we're going to do that again. So you skipped this one. You did a regular double crochet up here. Now we got to go to the next one, and we're going to do another one of those elongated, pull it up, front post double crochet. All right, and then a regular double crochet. Okay, and then the next one, pull that up, front post double crochet. Next one, you're just doing this back and forth. Double crochet, elongated, front post double crochet, just like that. Okay. Regular double crochet, front post. Okay. Double crochet, elongated one, double crochet. Oops. You're going to do your front post. And then, as I mentioned, I like to start and end with a double crochet. So there's our Alpine row, our first Alpine row. And you can see starts and ends with a double crochet, and you have these front posts that really stand out like a 3D effect all the way across. Okay, now you're going to chain one and turn, and like before, we're going to do a single crochet in every stitch across. That's all you need to do here. If I can keep my yarn on the hook. All right, we're just doing this all the way across, and then we're going to do this one more time, just so you can get an opportunity to see that one more time. And you'll see it's just the same thing over and over again, but it just has such a beautiful effect as you go through this. And my last single crochet, okay? And then we're gonna do that again. So you've got this single crochet row here in between. Now you're gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna start with either a chain 3 or an alternative turning chain for the next row. Okay, and then for this second one, you'll see we had a front post double crochet here. This time we're gonna make that a double crochet. So we're gonna do exactly the opposite of we did 2 rows before. Here we have a front post double crochet, a regular double crochet here. We're gonna make that now a front post double crochet. So you're gonna go around that double crochet 2 rows down, make it nice and tall. There's your front post double crochet. Now we have a front post double crochet. You're gonna make this a double crochet, okay? Then we have a regular double crochet here. You're gonna make this into a front post double crochet. One thing I'll mention as you're doing this back and forth, some are in front and some are on, or I should say some are 2 rows down and some are 1 row here. It can get a little confusing as to is this for this stitch back here or this stitch, and which one is actually next. You can actually also turn around and see which stitches you've gone into here, 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 so you can keep track of which ones you're supposed to be going into. It just gets a little confusing sometimes since you're working with 2 different rows as you go across, because it kind of looks like that should go in, the next stitch should go here. It's really here, right? Looks like this is your next stitch, but if you actually pull apart and take a look at it, this is your next stitch. So just be careful that you're going into the right stitches. That's the other reason I suggest that you count. And again, if you get confused as to, oh, did I skip one or not, or where, just kind of turn around and make sure you're doing, you're putting it into the right stitch. So this was a front post here. We're putting in a regular double crochet, okay? This one here is a regular double crochet. We're gonna do a front post, all right? All the opposite, all the way across. So every other stitch is gonna get the opposite that we did 2 rows down. So continue to do that all the way across. And then when we get to the end, we will just end with another double crochet like we did before. Okay, so it will, in this case, for this row, it means 2 double crochets in a row. That's okay. You'll have the opposite on the next row. All right, so let's take a look here. You can see you're starting to get this pattern and it's offset here with every row. You can continue that for as many rows as you'd like. You can have that any length that you like. Again, my recommendation is that you use an odd number of stitches so that you have that double crochet at the beginning and at the end. And then when you get to whatever size you want, you can see this beautiful pattern emerge, this 3D effect. And I think you should give this a try. As usual, if you have questions, go ahead and put that in the comments below. If there's a particular stitch you'd like to see, put that in the comments below. And as usual, if you could help out the channel by liking and subscribing, I would appreciate it. And thanks for joining. I'll see you all next time.